Good afternoon, everybody. I'm back in one of my homes, one of my many homes. This is St. Augustine Beach, Florida, on the east coast of Florida, northeast part, just south of Georgia, just outside of historic St. Augustine. And it feels great to be home. The weather's a little chilly after South America, but it's still warmer than most places. And feels fantastic. The ocean's cold this time of year. It's definitely freezing out there. I might brave it, but this beach is, you can drive on it at the other end. The pier is just ahead of me. St. Augustine Beach Pier. It's a big fishing pier. The ocean, like I said, is a bit chilly this time of year for most people. This is the surfing coast. So the other coast, the west coast of Florida, is the tropical side, the Caribbean, or not Caribbean. Part of it's the Caribbean, I suppose, down south. But mainly the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America, whatever you want to call it these days. But this is the very much the Atlantic coast and the historic coast, which is where the Spanish first landed and the Europeans first landed in this part of North America. So I'll have lots of videos from St. Augustine proper, and I have a new camera which I'll be trying out this week. Can't wait to do that, use that and share it with you. But such a beautiful night out here on the beach. It's a lot more popular over here for obvious reasons to come out to the sunrise, for the sunrise. On the other coast you get the sunset, and you don't get that on this side. So come out here 5:30, 6 in the morning, depending on the time of year, when the sun rises, and you get the beautiful sunrises. So it's absolutely phenomenal to be back. It's very peaceful, very quiet. It's been a busy couple of weeks in town. See how cold the water is. I'm going to go for a little dip in a minute, but I'm back for a little bit. Came back to see my mother who lives here. Whew, it's a little nippy. It's not like being in Uruguay, in Punta del Este anymore. But if you've never been to St. Augustine and St. Augustine Beach, I suggest you come down here maybe in the summer when it's a bit warmer. But signing off for now. Talk about refreshing. That was beautiful. Most of the locals are wearing long sleeves and jackets, and I mean, I don't like to be cold, but it's not that bad. It's about 70 degrees today, probably in the 60s right now, and that was refreshing. I must say, I do prefer the west coast of Florida. I always will. I prefer the sunsets as opposed to the sunrises and the ocean over there, the Gulf. But nice salt water on my face and grounding in the sand again. It's just a recharge of your system. And you do get a little bit of a sunset on this side. As the sun sets on the other coast, get a little bit. You get a nice little, you don't get the red light, what do they call it? The red twilight, the nice light after the sun goes down on the other coast. You get like the extra 2 hours of light. But on this coast you get, like I said before, the sun rises and the big choppy, wavy Atlantic with all the surfers. So you can see, very popular, very famous for surfing out here. Excuse me. This coast, they have surf competitions, and actually just a little bit further down the coast in New Smyrna Beach, that way, about 70 miles I think down the coast. New Smyrna Beach is actually the world's shark attack capital of the world. Is New Smyrna Beach, Florida, the shark attack capital of the world. So there are a lot of sharks out there. It is the Atlantic. In this part of Florida, not really as much up here. There are a lot more towards the pier, that way behind me, excuse me. But again, further south, it's the shark attack capital of the world, because there's a lot of surfers, there's a lot of funky breaks, and a lot of small sharks. They're mostly nibbles, they're mostly just little bites, nothing really fatal. I'm sure there has been fatalities over the years. Well, there has, but yeah, it's an interesting coast, the Atlantic coast of Florida. Just watching the beautiful sun go down on the other side and enjoying St. Augustine Beach. All right, this is the fishing pier end. Here's the shop at the fishing pier. Can't get on the fishing pier just yet. You have to pay for it. I think it's closed at this time, but no, it's open, but I'm not going to go out there. Hey, nice earrings. But this lights up at night, the St. Augustine Pier, or St. Augustine Beach Pier, excuse me. And it's a beautiful night. You can see it's been a playground here for many years. Fishing pier, very famous. Catch a lot of fish out there, probably some sharks too. And the beach by the pier is raised. You can go all the way further down this way, which is further north, is Anastasia State Park. So I'm not going to walk there now, but further this way from the parking lot, the car park on St. Augustine Beach, if you walk about 15 minutes, depending on how fast you walk, 10 minutes if you're a fast walker like me, 20 minutes if you're a slow walker, somewhere in between you'll be at Anastasia State Park. And that is beautiful Florida State Park, controversial recently because the governor and the big money investors in this part of the world wanted to turn all of the state parks and the beach parks into resorts and pickleball courts and things like that. But thankfully for now, that's passed. There is a giant resort which was built, probably about 5 years now. Yeah, probably finished about 5 years ago now, a giant resort here. But nothing else after that. And again, you get down to Anastasia State Park and it gets quite beautiful down there. So it's just a beautiful place to come. It's very peaceful, even though the Atlantic's a lot choppier and louder than the other side of Florida, the Gulf Coast. I've been out here many nights looking at the stars, looking at the beach and the pier, which lights up again. If we're out here long enough, we'll see it light up. You can just about see the white lights on there, but it should be lit up blue or purple in about half an hour to an hour. Very, very peaceful out here, St. Augustine Beach. So there's lots of shops, restaurants, bars all the way along. It's not quite like some of the beaches you may be used to. It's not like other parts of the world or even other parts of Florida, like the other coast, where there's bars and things on the beach. There are a few restaurants a bit further down, sort of on the beach, like just away from the ocean. They have actually filled in sand. They've actually filled in the beach and moved the ocean, or filled in sand so the ocean doesn't come up as far. Can't give you the correct terminology for that, but they did that because of the storms. We do get hurricanes on this side of Florida. Not as bad and not as often as the West Coast, but they do happen here. And the Atlantic is a lot more powerful and bigger than the Gulf, which is part of the Atlantic. But yeah, if all of that comes rushing in, then there's problems. So it doesn't happen often. Downtown St. Augustine does flood a lot. But yeah, that's it for now for St. Augustine Beach, just south of St. Augustine in St. Johns County, north of Flagler County, Marineland, here on the east coast of Florida. I forgot to mention, I'm just going to show you, I'm going to walk underneath the pier here. This never used to be possible when the tide was in, because this was all the ocean, this was all water. As you can see, the water used to come all the way up to the pier. And so in hurricane season, when there would be post-storms, even pre-storms, usually post-storms, well, pre and post-storms, but all of these stairs here, I'll show you these stairs, you used to be able to walk basically down into the rocks. This was all rocks. This was 20 feet down. They've filled this in about 20 feet here. So this used to be right on the water. So the ocean has been essentially kept at bay and moved a long way that way. That's why this beach here is so wide, so big. Never used to be like that when the tide came in. Literally the water came up to here. It's all been filled in. So they dredged and they filled in the sand, and yeah, it's a lot safer, it's a lot better for the homes. We played God, I suppose, but yeah, you can see these stairs. They used to go down to the rocks. These would be rocks, and the surf, you could watch the surfers. They would surf just here, literally just right here, and now they're way further out there. So it's changed a lot. The fishing pier no longer actually, well, yeah, so silly me, the fishing pier no longer actually goes into the ocean, so it's not even really a fishing pier anymore. It's more just a tourist sightseeing viewing pier, because it used to go right in the ocean, and there used to be sharks at the end of the pier. So I suppose you could say it's a lot cleaner and safe. Well, not cleaner, but it's a lot safer. But yeah, here's the remnants of the pier. Sorry, not the pier. The stairs that used to go right down into the ocean, and the rocks underneath us, but no longer. All been filled in. So that is it for St. Augustine Beach. A little tour of the main part of St. Augustine Beach and surrounding areas. You can see a couple of old pavilions here, and the couple of the restaurants, the famous restaurants out on the main road. But that's it for now, St. Augustine Beach.